Hey everyone, Butlee here. I'm with Patch. Good morning, Patch.
Good morning, Butlee.
We say morning, it could be any time that you are perusing this video.
No, it's definitely morning.
It's definitely morning. That's it. If you're
Yeah.
not watching this in the morning, you're doing it wrong. Sorry.
Every afternoon this video becomes unlisted.
That's it. It's a magic new feature in YouTube. We've got the 2017 edition.
Yep,
Beta.
ahead of the pack.
Alright, so today we're going to probably finish our discussion on Pokemon and wrap that up in a nice little bow and exhaust everything we had to talk about. But first, in terms of story, you might remember that we were powering forth to Balmamusa, and we were on the Duke's orders. He wanted us to go inside a revolt, which would give us enough soldiers. Like, we have peasants in basically prison camps. And so we're going to push the Galgastani out inside a revolt, and then hopefully all the camps that we have will revolt. And that will give us a massive army to fight the Galgastani off. We're going to dig through that. This is mostly a short episode where we battle, and then there's a whole lot of back-end story and a bit of background into the game, so we might talk through that later on. But for now, while you guys watch us duke this out, how does this battle go? I can't remember exactly. It's probably a bit smoother than last time, because last time was horrible and I almost lost. Excuse me. But I think we're gonna, do you want to take away the Pokemon discussion?
So, where we last left off, we're talking about Pokemon Black and White and 2, and how it did some good things, some bad things. Well, not so much bad things, but it was sort of like a new starting point. And for Pokemon, like, did it add anything notable? Pokemon Black and White 2? Or Black and White?
Black and White was the 3D element.
Was it?
Platinum was sort of 2D with a few with like a 3D view. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably not the right phrase, but I think the graphical upgrade to Black and White was way better.
Well, as far as I can tell, Black and White didn't add anything to the gameplay. From memory, can you remember any?
I honestly don't know. When did fairy types come in?
That was Gen 6, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I didn't notice anything apart from new. There was probably more new Pokemon, I thought, in Black and White than in Platinum, but I don't know that for a fact. And you could probably
that's a fair point. I mean, if there was, there was. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is there wasn't really, like, a major feature added in, like physical special split or breeding or even abilities. Like, they added stuff in all the previous generations that really changed how the games work. Whereas Gen 5, it was sort of like refining it, like everything was sort of in its place. And this is my segue into Gen 6, because it was come Gen 6, like, where do you go from there? You've got your fully refined system, you just keep adding to it. And they sort of did, and that's where Megas come from.
Right, and Megas don't actually really... They didn't change how, say, battles went in the purest sense, if you know what I mean. The way you battled still was the same, you just had the option for this extra. It was just like a different Pokemon, really.
Yeah. It definitely, well, I don't know, it had a big impact in some things and not other things. The big thing it did impact was obviously any competitive metagame, which I don't think they were really too concerned about. The metagame, the competitive scene will always manage. Like, it will always figure out its own rules or its own logic to stop things like Mega Evolutions from being too strong.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely... I think it was just designed because they really wanted to give something new to the game that would be this big appeal. And, you know, it would make certain Pokemon really special. They argued that they were making old Pokemon relevant again. Like Beedrill and Pinsir and things. They were making a lot of ones that I hadn't seen love in a long time.
I think it gives... I mean, I can see in the sense of if they don't want to make another proper evolution, or if they want to make something that's like, it's like Kangaskhan. They're like, well, they want to keep the sanctity that it technically doesn't evolve. They don't want to make another weird condition to evolve another sort of standard normal or ground type Pokemon, and you know, and then what does it evolve into and stuff. So they give it a Mega Evolution. It kind of gets an evolution, but you don't have to worry about the conditions or anything like that. It just evolves and then you'll be happy and that's it.
Yeah. So, I guess the other thing is Mega Evolutions weren't strictly the most balanced thing. If you look over the years, it might be just coincidence, but competitive Pokemon, had a lot more diversity in teams over the past few years. Like it's slowly been boiling down, and there's less and less diversity is what I meant.
Competitive scene.
Yeah. If there's an image kicking around on the internet somewhere where it goes, oh, here's the winners of 2013, 2014, 2015, and the 2014 teams are all fairly diverse. There's only a few Pokemon that see like use in a couple of the teams. And then each year following it, the teams became more and more uniform. And I didn't watch it personally, but you did, didn't you? The
2016 Worlds, or
yeah,
I'm not sure. I might have watched the 2015 Worlds. I watched them earlier this year, but I'm not sure exactly.
Whichever one had the Primal Groudon and Kyogre.
I don't know if they do, like, they just had Nationals and they were talking about having Worlds later this year. I don't know if they run a Worlds tournament twice a year, or if I just caught really delayed replays of last year's. I'm not sure.
Well, the point being is, what happened was they allowed people to take in, 2 legendaries, was it?
Yeah, this is the first time, or recently, that you're allowed to take 2 legendaries in.
Yeah, and this was a terrible mistake because everyone just took in Primal Groudon.
Groudon and Kyogre, yeah.
Yeah, and Kyogre. And that just completely broke everything, so every team had it.
The thing is the weather, like...
At least the top ones.
Weather strategies were always quite popular, and these were just... It was too easy to get weather control and a legendary bulky Pokemon, so...
Yeah.
These already powerful weather strategies just became better and better with the ability to use the primals to play them.
Which is unfortunate because I think weather strategies, one of the reasons they're so popular is because it's fun. It's fun to have a weather effect that, you know, enhances your Pokemon.
Well, and I think having multiple Pokemon that benefit from like a weather condition, it makes you feel like you've really made a team that works together, and that's what making a team is about. You want a team that you can do, that you feel like works together, or it feels covers all the things you need, or, you know, so I think any type of, we use the word, we throw the word synergy around a lot, and it certainly is synergy, and that's a really, I don't want to say basic, but an easy way to have a lot of synergy and work well like that.
Yeah.
Very rewarding.
So, I guess what I'm trying to say is Mega Evolutions, they might have been a lot of fun in single player, and given players a lot more to do, a lot more completionist and that sort of stuff. But in the terms of competitive, it sort of wasn't really that healthy.
The problem is, I can see why Megas were a thing, because they sort of, like, they wanted it to be, like, okay, now I play my ace, and they wanted every team to have, like, the ability to have an ace, you know?
Yeah.
And then they thought, well, we've got Megas now, so... I don't know the reason for having multiple legendaries, but I can understand if they were like, well, having Megas kind of makes each individual legendary less impactful, so we can have multiple legendaries, and it'll be like a choice now. Do you take a Mega and 2 legendaries, or do you take a, like, you know, 1 Mega, 1 legendary and try and get more synergy? But it didn't really work out like that. The Pokemon that they had just ended up, everyone takes 1 Mega and 2 legendaries to a battle.
Yeah, so I guess that's all we... Do we have anything else to really add for Megas?
No, I mean, personally I haven't played with them. I haven't played any of the Gen 6 or onwards games, so I don't have anything really, any personal knowledge. I've just watched a bit of the competitive scene, and even then only the high level stuff. I never played in regional tournaments or anything.
I do have 2 points to make about it. The first point being, it gave them a way to pick out some of the most popular Pokemon of all time, such as Mewtwo and Charizard, and bring them back to like the forefront. Basically, re-release them.
Yeah,
and
I like
this
that
coincided with
because they were designed for the generation that they came out.
yeah,
If-
and also this. Oh well, I was just gonna say this. In that generation, you could get the starters of Gen 1, so.
Yep. All I was going to mention is in the battle here, I can see Vice getting lower and lower, and I started just throwing bodies in the middle of the lane to try and take some of the attention off him. He's been getting wrecked in every fight, and you can tell by my levels of my characters, the warrior is not growing very much. Anyway, that was just something that was happening in game. But no, I don't have anything else that I personally know about Mega Evolutions and similar. Did you want to talk about something else?
Well, there's a last thing we go on to for Pokemon. Because the new game is coming out very shortly.
Are we is this Gen 7 now? Is that how it goes? Or are we further than I even know?
Yeah, we're Gen 7.
Okay.
So this Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I think what's interesting about that, they're introducing another new super special thing in Z moves, where, yeah, you get like a special one-off move for certain Pokemon. There's
I haven't
one for
seen
every
a lot
type.
about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's one for every type, and then there's some for specific Pokemon. Like there's one for Pikachu, because you got to have one for Pikachu. There's one for Snorlax, and there's one for Eevee. It's funny how they keep coming back to these original Pokemon. I don't know. I don't know if it's like.
Well, I guess the development team is just as fond as that. They're fond of them as everyone else is.
Yeah. I'm just salty because there's no Gen 2 starter evolutions. Mega Typhlosion, no Mega Meganium, is it? And no Mega Feraligatr. Mega Feraligatr would be awesome.
It would be kind of scary. I might have trouble sleeping at night.
And yeah, that's sort of a little bit of a disappointment. They've done every generation with Megas except for that generation now, I think.
And they're skipping, they're kind of going away from that, and they're going on to Z moves and other things like the alternate forms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just in the game again, see how great this Great Bow is? Like, it just has so much range. Like, that Maritime is really not even in the battle at all, and she's just outlaying damage from nowhere.
I did notice that your archers were doing a lot of work this time.
You can see it, I'm sort of cruising through it instead of like pausing on anything to look, but the archers have this move now when I go into that little the little circle with the blue symbol on it. That's your like abilities. They've got tremendous shot now. I've talked about the finishing moves, and you have to get 100 of that little yellow T-bar down the bottom filled up. And that's what Canopus uses. But they don't have level 2 in any of their weapons yet, so they can't use their finishing moves. And so to give them something to use their yellow bar on, I give them Tremendous Shot, which is like an automatic, it gives them 100% critical shot and knocks back on space.
I had picked up that's what your mage has been doing. He uses Meditate.
Right, and Meditate gives you a bit of mana. Like, he's getting something like 5 or 7 mana per turn. I'll be honest, it's not a big deal, but Meditate, a lot of these moves scale up. So the reason I'm doing Meditate is so that it can slowly level to like level 2. And so when he gets more powerful spells and he actually needs it, then he'll hopefully have level 2 by then. At the moment it just takes more time, but you know, a bit of preparation is the way to go.
Also, I'd actually like to correct myself. Looks like there's actually not that many legendary megas of all the gens. There's only really Gen 1 has all megas.
Yep.
Blaziken got a mega because it's Blaziken. And then Sceptile and Swampert. And other than that, there hasn't been any other starter legendaries. Megas, sorry.
Yep.
Keep calling them legendaries.
So many different terminologies now.
Yeah.
What do they call the
confusing.
alternate forms? Do they just call it like Aloha? Pikachu? Is there a Pikachu?
Yeah, Alolan, I think they call him.
Alolan Dug Trio. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Eradicate? That's one I saw, Eradicate.
There's Alolan Meowth, which
Wow.
looks just fine, but then there's an Alolan Persian, which just looks quite frankly awful. It's got this goofy looking face and it's all rounded.
Ugh.
Doesn't look much like a cat.
I kind of like the idea of not necessarily just Alohan, but I kind of like the idea of having the same Pokemon in a different like style or type, or I mean they're even different types, aren't they? Are they ice type, a lot of them?
Oh yeah, some of them are. Yeah, it depends on which Pokemon.
Right.
It's really just case based.
But I do like that. I like the idea of, you know, say, I don't know examples, but I like the idea of, say, a normal Raticate and then an ice Raticate.
Yeah,
I think
the
cool.
Raticate might be dark.
Yeah, you know, but the point, I like the idea of, I want that Pokemon, I like the, you know, the physical or special or defensive nature that it is, but I also, the typing sucks. Well, this gives them a way, and now and in the future, to, you know, refine these types and give them a bit more personality like that.
Mm.
Here we go. So these are the finishes. It costs 100. All of your, I don't know what you call it. It's got T. I don't know what T stands for.
Tactics.
Might be. It is Tactics Ogre. So yeah, you can see that's a more powerful shot. That's why I haven't taught Canopus Tremendous Shot, even though he could learn it, or anything that he could use with his melee, or anything like that, because I just want to save up, because he's the only one who can use these level 2 moves. You'll certainly see in the next video that we're struggling when we don't have the moves. This one was fairly easy.
Yeah.
We're going downhill. Terrain makes a huge difference in combat. It's really cool. Like, not just for moving around, but going downhill, so our archers had better range, you know, we could get good line of sight for our mages, we could, you know, avoid a lot of their ranged attacks because they couldn't get us uphill.
I actually thought that battle was a bit odd because there were so few enemies. Like, I'm used to you having these big, almost overwhelming battles with, you know,
Right.
a big leader on it. But I guess the idea was, because there wasn't a leader this time, you had to beat all of them.
And keep in mind that this is a, I guess you call it like an Eastern RPG game, so it will err on the side of creating a better narrative than having a consistent difficulty curve. So, for example, we kind of, like, they didn't know we were going to go and try and free prison camps. We kind of surprised them, you know. The last guy that we fought with the beasts, we were like, well, he was like, oh no, they're attacking from this way, and we kind of snuck up on them, you know. So that was a weaker force defending. And his vice, he is obviously getting more and more aggravated as we go on.
Well, he is Vice.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Yeah, it probably was.
Vice is one of them words, depending how you use it, can have sort of different kinds of meanings, so it's interesting.
Did we want to talk over this, or is this for...
I wanted to sort of follow the story for a few minutes.
Sure.
I don't want to like do voices and that though, because that would be insane. But yeah, we're digging in. This is us trying to free the camps. Don't know what else to say. What else can I talk about? We're getting to the point. I might do a couple of videos where we start looking at the team and start looking at like customizing.
Sure.
I'm certainly at the point where I need a couple of different units. I need a crossbowman. Problem with archers, you can only get so much range when you've got lower terrain, so you need like a crossbow because he will fire straight and it's at the same range up or down. So you can definitely do with a crossbowman. I definitely need another mage. It's good having one, but when you get like beasts like the griffins, your attacks on them, like some of your crushing weapons like hammers can do a bit of damage, but you really need mages to deal the spells. And the other thing is too, mage spells come in like damage or support. So like at the moment, our mage does Word of Pain almost every attack, but I never use Sleep or Paralyze and stuff like that. So I really need another mage to sort of support him a bit, so I don't always cast attacking spells, I can cast supporting spells as well. Leonard, he was following us up from the Duke. These people do not convince easily.
I thought you said you weren't going to do the voices.
I'm not. I was segueing into guzzling down some coffee. I hope nobody noticed. Just read that for a second.
Anakin, kill them. Kill the younglings.
What? The Duke told him to? I love the way he speaks. If you know even one reason, I would hear it.
It's a very formal way of speaking.
It's almost, but I don't know, it doesn't sound, it's not the typical kind of formal that we would expect from that era. It's still kind of unique.
Oh, I know what he's doing.
Go on. What is he going to do? He's explaining
He's
it to.
Well, he's going to butcher them and pin the crime on the Golgostanis.
Yep.
To incite others to take up arms.
Yep. That was the point. It was either, he's saying either the Balmamusa peasants rise up and fight with us, and that would encourage other camps to fight, or yeah, he butchers them and says, okay, well, that'll convince them that they're going to die anyway if they don't rise up and revolt.
I'm trying to remember what that reminds me of.
I'm not sure.
It's something I've seen before. I'm getting strong vibes of something.
But
I just can't remember what it specifically is.
I do like that, like, this has a really cool story to it. Like, yeah, sure, bits and pieces of it remind you of other things, and that's because everything's been done, you know, there's nothing original and unique, but it's how you combine the elements. When I first played, I definitely didn't expect this to be happening. Until this point, we thought the Duke was, like, ultra responsible. He knew he had to make the pact with the Dark Knights of Lotus. He knew he had to save his people from the Galgastani first, and then he could turn on the Bakram and things like that. Now we're
I don't
learning.
think Vice will go for it.
You don't think Vice will go for it?
No, I don't think he'll murder people. Unless he gets really angry.
Well, he is an angry man. It's one of his vices.
No.
And
the lady, your lady friend, I think she'd be upset by that as well. Wouldn't go for it either.
the Dame Ravenous.
No, the other lady friend who's been with you since the start.
Oh, my sister.
Yes.
Kachua? I'm not sure.
I've been following along the story.
Here's the challenge. I get a choice. A big choice.
I think I know what you're gonna choose.
Dun, 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 dun. I already decided I'm taking the holy path.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
But there's an interest. There's all like, even within the general story, it's interesting like hearing Leonard justify it. You know, this is war. You haven't had your hands bloody, but I've seen what it's like. Oh, he attacked me. Team, where are you? Help.
Suddenly, soldiers run out of every door.
Or that door.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Really? Vice?
Dude, just look at this picture. Much frightened. I love it.
Wow. What a dick. I really hadn't pinned him for that.
I mean, exactly right. Like, yeah, he's getting angry, but only because of how noble he is for the cause. And you
This
can.
is the part where, as a character, he goes too far.
This is where he truly becomes Anakin. I just love that his portrait changed. I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, now it's all coming out. He's got angst
Quick.
towards us because we're like siblings and we're in tandem, and he was like the third wheel and stuff.
Quick, Vice, throw a stone. You can knock them straight off.
Throw a stone. So he's been upgraded from stones.
Uh
Foreshadowing.
oh.
Ravnus is supposed to be like third in command behind Duke and Leonard, from what I understand.
Yeah.
She's joining our side. I mean, yeah, sure, you can hate Leonard in this moment, but it's like, well, he's following orders. I mean, he's a knight.
No, not at all. I don't hate Leonard. I think he's entirely like logical and sound. He's being a man of his honor, in that his honor is to serve his liege before the safety of his people. And to win the war is his liege's goal, so he has to follow along with that. Vice, on the other hand, he's just being a dick. Like, oh, these people won't fight? Well, let's kill them. Then other people will fight for us.
Well, he believes that the Galgastani are going to wipe us all out anyway, so he figures these guys are going to die regardless, so we might as well end their torment and try and use it to our advantage to win the war.
Yeah, but Vice is doing it. He seems more malicious, where Leonard seems more tormented.
Oh, certainly.
shouldn't be-
Vice is the one who's got something to prove.
Yeah, even if you think it is a necessity to kill your own people, there should be an internal conflict of your character if you want to look in any way redeemable. Vice does not seem redeemable.
I like this bit. So now they're like questioning how Wallister Ravnus is. She must have like one Galgastani parent. I always pair this to the Harry Potter mud blood thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever that
Whoa!
is.
What?
Yeah, he whistled. And you were right about the false Galgastani. Also, sorry to any of the viewers if this is a bit boring, but we're kind of just enjoying a few minutes of story, and then we'll get back to the fighting.
This is actually fascinating. Like, this is really engaging for me. I'm enjoying watching the moral quandary and the 5 different ways the characters react.
That's the main thing. So there's 5 characters here, and we've pretty much got 5 conflicting, what do you call it, like, ideas on the world. Like, ethics. And
Or at least 4. It's hard to say what our character's opinion is, because it's our character. Oh, wow!
Told you he's been upgraded from stones.
Yeah, anyone who says mongrel is a villain. No good guy ever said mongrel.
So yeah, remember that white knight that was going to join our team and heal and shoot people? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So this is actually the end of the episode, sorry. We should quickly wrap up. Next time, we obviously have a false Galgastani army to fight. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.